draft. First pick, not a whole lot in this pack. I'm going to take Return, as it's a 1 of in the cube, sets me up. Take some other things later. Pick here is between Call the Haunted or MST. I like Call the Haunted. Sinister is very strong, especially with Regeki Break, Phoenix Movement Blast. Nobleman's also always pretty good. Other than that, not much in this pack. I'm going to take the Sinister. Sets me up for stuff later. Here, I like Goblin Attack Force or Zombira. Everything else is kind of mediocre. Giant Rat's an okay pick too. But a lot of this stuff, not very high quality. I'll take the Zombira. He's a dark, he's big. There's another Call of the Haunted here. There's also Abyss Soldier to go with Sinister. I like Abyss Soldier and Sinister a lot. Big Devastation Virus also very strong. But it's not one of my favorite cards to play, so I'd rather take one of these other cards. Here, there's not a whole lot of options besides Goblin. There's also 7 tools, Brain Control, but Goblin's really big and he's very good. Pyramid Turtle, Defusion, Gigantes, Reasoning. But I'm going with Defusion. There's only one Defusion and one Return in the cube, and I have them both, so now I can go towards more of a Banish deck. Z Metal Tank, when you fuse with them, they get banished, so I'm going to take that. Here it's 7 tools, Creator, Trap Hole. Any of these are fine. Not likely to play DK Commander or King Tiger, so I'm going to take Creator just to see if I can get into it. It's a strong card, especially with Sinister. Any of these are fine. I kind of want to play with Slate Warrior though. We just added him to the cube, so I'm going to take him and try him out. Once again, another filler pack. I'll just take United. I don't mind having like one pump spell if I need it. Another Rat, Koki. But I'm going to take Hysteric Fairy. I'm going to try to be aggressive with Return and Defusion. Here, I don't mind Giant Trunade, but I kind of want the book. Book works with Slate Warrior and Goblin and a bunch of other things, so D-Spell and Shadow Spell. Just kind of whatevers. Here we open Jinzo. Obviously works very well with Return and Call the Haunted. This pack we get Cyberjar. Could take Morphing Jar or Injection over that. But with Injection, when you're playing Return and Defusion, it's a little harder. Got a Breaker here. Spell and Trap removal is very nice. We're kind of off the Rat strategy at the moment. I don't have a lot of traps, so I'm just going to take the widespread here. Already had a Book of Moon. Here's a Creator Incarnate for our creator. There's also Sakuretsu, Soul Purity and Light. But I want to get into the creator, so I'm going to take the Creator Incarnate. And here's a second Creator Incarnate. Not a lot in this pack. Berserk Gorilla's fine though, so I'll take him. I like Nobleman or 7 tools. It says your spell and trap removal, essentially. Here's the Wide Dragon Head. Could take the other Berserk Gorilla, it'd probably be a better pick. But I do have the return thing going on, and then here's a Freed to also fuel Return and Defusion. Form of the Locust is a sideboard card. We got Soul Purity and Light, and another Soul Purity and Light. And a Swords of Concealing One. This back we got a Premature. And then we get past the Snatch Still at the instant take. This one you have MST or Call. But I have Genzo, so I take the call. Another Premature, but there's also a Mobius. Mobius is very strong. It's like 2 MSTs. So I'm going to take that. Here I just take a Saku to get some more traps in my deck. This pick I could take Bottomless, Giant Orc, Berserk Gorilla, Phoenix Wingman Blast. I don't need Sinister. I don't need the second Sinister or the Night Assailant. So I just take the Blast. Get a Crane here for my Creator and my Call to Haunted. Bazoo for Return and Defusion. I don't really need the second Z Metal Tank. I have 1 and 1 right now. So I end up taking the Golem Sentry. That might be a mistake. Meshing Ground here for removal. Here I get the Shining Angel to go with my 2 Soul Purity and Lights. And another Shining Angel. I can also grab the Y and Z parts. I'm not playing any of these. Just take the Tornado Bird for side deck. Either one of these are making the deck. Potentially could play Stray Lambs. And a last pick Strike Ninja. Let's see how the deck turned out. Alright, here we have our deck. I had to play every light I had, I think, to support these 2 Soul Purity and lights. Mobius and Jinzo are pretty much auto includes. Crater is a light. Plus I got 2 Crater Incarnates, so it shouldn't be too hard to get him out. I have 1 Abyss, 1 Sinister. And that will end up being pretty good. Bazoo for Return and Defusion. And then Breaker is just really good, along with Zombira. One thing to note is our deck size is 30. So you have to be at least 30 cards, but you can play as many as you want, and then any of the cards you didn't use go to your sideboard. Yeah, I like this. So let's see how the games play. Alright, here we are, match 1, game 1. Open up with an okay hand. Not a whole lot of options. I'm going to go ahead and set Book and Shining Angel. And just respond to whatever he does. You have the Sword Priest, which will answer my Shining Angel and any targets I get, so I go ahead and book it. Could have let him get through 1 Shining Angel, or maybe both, and get to a Z Metal Tank. But I'd rather save them for later. And I push with Zombira instead of Breaker. If I play Breaker, there's a chance he has an answer to it immediately, so I want to play this last if possible. He doesn't have anything, so he passes. Now I'm going to play the Breaker and push. Draw 3 goats. He drew a Soul Exchange, so he's going to push here a little bit. He opts to get rid of Shining Angel, as Horus is bigger than these other 2 things. And he sets my body. But, unfortunately for him, I drew the perfect answer for Horus and my body to shield. Now I spin the Horus back on top. Feel pretty comfortable pushing here. And Zombira cannot attack direct, so I pretty much have to play a second monster there. The brain controls. Get this Horus out. And unfortunately for him, his level 8 was in his hand. Now I draw with Abyss. I draw Abyss with Sinister in the graveyard. Just insane top deck. And that's it. Game 2. He opens up an all tribute hand. No defensive cards at all. And he just decides to pass. No bluffs. Feel pretty safe pushing with Angel here. Not really any great place here. I can't snatch still the Silent Swordsman as it's unaffected by spells, so I just go ahead and get my Angel back to protect my life points a little bit. Also sets me up for Soul Purity and Light later. Alright, he decides to go for Soul Exchange into Dark Ruler. He can't attack because of Soul Exchange, but this allows me to snatch still the Dark Ruler. And unfortunately for him, he doesn't have anything. Top deck's a blank. I played a little safe. He has Nobleman here, but still no answer to Dark Ruler or Snatch Still. He blanks again with Horse, level 8. I decide to push a little bit. Now I can spin his back row. That he only has one. Summon my Soul Purity and Light. And Defusion for game. Alright, back for match 2. Game 1. Open up a pretty weak hand. One opens up Share the Pain of Sinister. Neat little combo. And a lot of traps. But we have Breaker. And it's the only monster I could summon without going straight into Creator. So I just take the risk of hitting the Nightmare Will, which is nice. He draws another trap, so no monsters. But he does have Sinister to go with it. I have a couple options here. I could Mobius, try to hit 2 things. I could Jinzo, which would have locked out all 3 of his traps. But I go for the Mobius. Hit with Phoenix Moon Blast. But I take out the Widespread. He draws kind of a blank for that turn at least. I have a couple options here. I could go Creator, I could go Creator Incarnate. I decided to go for it. I have a lot more cards than him. And then this allowed me to convert some of these tributes into actual monsters, and then if Creator lives, even better. So he goes for Soul Exchange here. He could meta this into an 8-star, or he could just play as a Borg, which he does. Up that call, which is nice, but he dusts it. Fortunate. Still have Saku face down there. Go ahead and get rid of the Zaborg. Get my Soul Purity and Light out there. And I'll swing into a goat. He metas here, but I have the Phoenix Lumen Blast to counter it. I attack into the Jiu-Jitsu Master. There's a little trade there. Finish off a goat. Top deck's a blank. Then you get the Gigantes, which is nice. I get to answer this with my Solar Purity Light. He top decks a great answer for it. I am running low on lights. Decide to summon here, since if he has Torrential Mirror Force, that'll give me 2 lights for my other Soul Purity and Light. Also, he's really low on life points. Fortunately for him, he gets a Scapegoat, so that'll buy him a couple turns. I get another light, that's really good for me. And then I get to swing into 2 goats here. His next card is Dusk Koala, pretty solid. Draw a Crane. And then attack straight into this. Can't destroy it yet, so just finish off the goats and hope nothing bad happens. He draws Assailant, decides to keep his defense monster up, play the Assailant. Now I'm in kind of a bad spot. But I top deck Zombara. Then I decide to run my Angel in, and playing a little too fast here, didn't check the deck. Thought I had another target, didn't. But that's fine because I wanted the lights in for Soul Purity and Light anyway. And just finish off the DD Assailant. And I'm going to go ahead and get this out there, since if another light monster dies, I get my other one. It also lowers his attack. All his monsters attack by 300 during his turn, not during mine. I top deck a Smashing Ground. Go kill off the Koala, allow me to push for lethal. But he does have Night Assailant. Save him. And then he draws a blank. So that's it for game 1. On to game 2. He'll be on the play this time. I sided in Slate Warrior. Don't remember the exact cuts, but he is playing a little bit more aggressive deck, bigger creatures. He tries to brain control, really his only option here. I have Pluck a Moon, which is really good with Slate Warrior, as his effect gives him 500 attack when he flips. He goes ahead and hits my Saku, and then sets a bluff. I flip summon Slate Warrior, which will give him the attack. Now he's 2400. And this will kill pretty quickly. He gets another Nobleman of Extermination, which isn't helping him here. And then he hits my call, and he decides to concede. I really only had one more turn after this one, and he would have drawn a trap hole, so. Okay, we're going to the final game, final match of the cube draft, and a decent hand here. And I'm on the play, which is always good. Go ahead and summon my angel face up in case he has noblemen, or my call the haunted. He has a good play here with graceful into double Night Assailant, so he loses nothing. But besides the Phoenix Wingman Blast, his hand is pretty much all monsters. He decides to bribe my Shining Angel. And I could activate Call here, but we'll just be able to use Tribe to kill anything I get. And he gets this Night Assailant discard for free, so no reason to do that. But at the end of his turn, I do activate Call, so I contribute for Mobius. But then I draw Genzo, so now, once again, I have a couple options. But I decide to go for Mobius. He has Phoenix Wing and Blast here. With the Night Assailant, but I have 7 tools to stop that. And that way I can push on through this tribe. So he draws a blank, and pretty much just has to set Night Assailant. I also draw a blank though, so I decide to push with Breed. I'm pretty convinced that it is Night Assailant, so I hit with Mobius first. And it is. Then I get in for 17. Unfortunately, I have no way to protect the Freed. And he top decks Trap Dust Shoot, which is going to be really good for him. He gets Kaiku out and attacks. That's the Dust Shoot. So now he gets to see my hand. Fortunately, I top decked Hysteric Fairy, which isn't the best, but it'll allow me to trade with the Kaiku after he takes the breaker out of my hand. So I summon the fairy and trade, and I'm going to go ahead and play Soul Purity and Light. He already knows about it anyways. And he draws a blank here. I get Mirage Dragon, push in for some damage. He draws DD Warrior Lady. His only play is to either summon Warrior Lady, Crash with Soul, or set it. He decides to set. I draw Bazoo. I have no monsters in the graveyard. I could tribute for Genzo, or I could summon the Bazoo, push even more damage. Decide to go for that. Back into his Warrior Lady with Soul. And then get him for 32, which puts him at 700. So I'm pretty far ahead, and he has only monsters. He draws a Sangan, so his only play here is to summon X-Head, hit over Bazoo. Unlucky that I didn't have a monster remove. But Kaiku really helping him from earlier. Draw a blank here. Have to go for Genzo, which is fine. Now he's at 100. He draws Pot of Greed. It's in a giant rat. That's a bluff. I draw a return, which I do have a lot of monsters. I decided to attack the rat. I mean, I don't know that it's a rat, but I have return, so, you know, making sure his field is clear is going to be good. He decides to get aggressive. And then I draw my last tribute in the deck. I decide, okay, I pretty much have to go for a return here. And he has Solemn. On to game 2. Open up a pretty bad hand. We have a couple lights and Defusion. I decide just to set the tank. Got the biggest defense. My other play would be like summon Goblin attack force and pass. I don't really like that though. But he has Nobleman, so I'm gonna lose my. Sorry, it's the White Dragon head that I set. But he doesn't attack, he just sets Singin. Draw Slate Warrior. Destroy his Singin. And he gets Warrior Lady. Which is okay for me, but if that gets removed, he will get it back with Defusion later, if I play that. And he has all monsters, but he does have Tribe again. So he just goes ahead and cashes in the Tribe. And we're both just very monster heavy. Draw Snatch Still, so I could use my Snatch Still on this. Do something like summon Goblin, Snatch Still, swing. But I just decide I'm just going to trade with a Tribe. I don't want to waste my Snatch Still yet. I also could have been pretty aggressive with Defusion. But we both kind of have nothing at the moment, so he gets the Rat. I draw a return. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get a lot of lights to the graveyard for my Solar Purity and Light. Now this is where I think I misplayed. I summoned the tank because I'm expecting the game to go a little bit longer. It's been slow. It's been pretty slow so far. So I'm expecting like I'll be able to get my Solar Purity and Light, and then have like a big return or Defusion play. But he actually has Injection Fairy Lily in his deck, and he gets it off the Giant Rat. That's going to be really bad for me, as we're both going to quickly lose a lot of life points, and it's going to accelerate the game. And then he sets. I draw Zombira here, and I feel like I'm going to try to be aggressive and go for Zombira plus Snatch Still. Now, if I hadn't wasted my Z Metal tank last turn, I could have returned the Wide Dragon, summoned Z Metal tank, made the Fusion monster, then Defusion both them back. So I just decided to go for Zombira plus Snatch. I find out his face down is a blank, so that's good for me. And I decide to go ahead and pay for Injection. And I'm just 300 damage short of being able to return Wide Dragon Head and winning the game. But he finally draws a non-monster card. And he has Cypher Soldier, which is really, really good. As, besides Injection, my only attacking monsters are Warriors. Still don't have a second light for Soul of Purity and Light. And I go below 2,000 life points, which means I can't play Dimension Fusion, and I can't pay for Injection Fairy Lily. And then I draw another Warrior, so my only play to kill the Cypher Soldier is to return Wide Dragon Head, which I don't end up doing. So yeah, this Injection just ended up destroying me. Not only doing a lot of damage to me, but also making me waste my Snatch Still on it. And just letting him gain a lot of life. So I just decide I'm going to set this. I'm not going to go for the return play. I get one turn to hopefully get the Crater, hopefully he attacks the Crater Incarnate. And then that puts me a second light in the graveyard. So then I'll have a big return. He decides to Exile Force my face down. And then since I'm at 1,050 life points, He goes for the Regeki break. On the Snatch Deal, which gives him his injection. And unfortunately for me, he has enough life points to activate it, so even with the return, I could block one of his creatures, but the other one will just win him the game. So that's it.